It is all about what is next for the New York Mets now that we know they won't be headed to Los Angeles for the division series. And joining me to talk some Mets baseball is the man who has been with the team all season long and will be with them into the offseason. That is New York Post Mets beat writer Mike Puma. Mike, how are you doing after the wild card round is over?
Yeah, it hit you all at once that it's over here.
It all at once came crashing down. At least that's how it feels for most Mets fans. All came crashing down. Now, Mike, if you look at it, the Mets, they really hadn't played good baseball since September 1st. So should we really have been surprised with how the season ended with the team losing in the wild card round?
I don't think you can be surprised anytime a team loses in a short series like this. It's, best of three series. You lose two games, you're done. But you're right, the warning signs were there over the last several weeks of the season, probably going back to early September, right after they beat the Dodgers 2 out of 3 at Citi Field, and they had that so-called weak portion of the schedule, and they couldn't beat up on those teams and put away the division. So I think we saw this festering a little bit. The way it went down with the starting pitchers not carrying their weight, I think that's probably the most surprising aspect of this. But also, the lineup in this series particularly was a complete no-show. Last night you're talking about one hit and one walk. Wow.
Didn't see that one coming. One hit, one walk in game three. Winner take all. Didn't go well for the Mets there. So, on to the offseason, Mike. What should the team's focus be this offseason? And besides retaining their own players, will they be big spenders to bring in a player or other players from other teams in free agency?
They have some really tough decisions to make here. And the one thing, if they do decide to keep this group together, it's going to cost, we're talking about a payroll that could skyrocket up close to $350 million next season. If you're talking about bringing back guys like DeGrom and Edwin Diaz and Chris Bassett, Brandon Nimmo. So, you look at their rotation and 4 of their 5 starters could be gone next season. Max Scherzer's the only one kind of guaranteed to come back. And then their 3 top relievers, when you start with Edwin Diaz and Adam Ottavino and Seth Lugo. So you're talking about 7 out of their 8 top pitchers that conceivably could leave. Now, I think the Mets really want to lock up Edwin Diaz. He was the best closer in baseball this year. He's going to get paid. The fascinating case will be DeGrom. What happens here? Does he want to stay? And if he does, are the Mets willing to pay big to retain him? Will they pay $45-50 million a year to bring back Jacob DeGrom?
Going to be interesting to see if DeGrom gets the bag here. Now, looking at some of the Mets' young players, Francisco Alvarez, Brett Beatty, they both were called up this season. What are the chances both of those players have a major impact on the big league roster in 2023?
Yeah, I think they'll have an impact at some point. Now, to expect both of them on the opening day roster next year, that might be a little hasty considering. Now, remember when Brett Beatty was called up, he had only been at Syracuse AAA a couple of days, but they needed a third baseman when Guillorme and Escobar got hurt. So, he might be somebody that's spends 2 months down in Syracuse or is a midseason call up next year if he's ready. Alvarez got a little more playing time at AAA this year. And I think there's a lot better chance that he makes the opening day roster next year with it, and he'll bring some right-handed power to the lineup ideally, because that catcher spot was certainly a sore spot in the lineup. So, I think that'll be a storyline heading into spring training next year. Francisco Alvarez potentially right out of the gate being their catcher.
Oh, Mike, there's going to be a lot of storylines. It's going to be a long offseason for the Mets and their fans and a lot of decisions for the Metropolitans to make before they start the 2023 season. That is Mike Puma. Mike, great job this season covering the Mets. I know we're going to talk a lot more during the offseason. Be well, and I'll talk to you soon.
See you soon. Take care.